Behind every royal headline, there's a hidden truth. The world is watching The Crown once again. This is Golden Crown Insider, where royal secrets become headlines. Tonight, we are talking about the most talked about snub in Hollywood right now. The rejection that has sent shockwaves through fashion circles, royal commentary, and social media all at once. We are talking about Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, the woman who has spent years positioning herself as a global fashion icon, being reportedly kept off the guest list of the one event that could have made that dream official. The 2026 Met Gala, and the two women who allegedly made sure she was not there. Subscribe right now if you are new to Golden Crown Insider. Hit that bell, because this story has layers. Fashion, power, personal vendettas, and a duchess who reportedly saw the doors of fashion's most prestigious night slam shut right in front of her. Let's start by understanding exactly what the Met Gala is. Because if you are not fully in the fashion world, it is easy to underestimate just how significant this event truly is. The Met Gala is not simply a party. It is not simply a red carpet. It is the single most powerful gathering in the global fashion industry. Every year, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York becomes the center of the universe for designers, celebrities, musicians, athletes, and cultural icons. To be invited is to be confirmed. Confirmed as someone who matters, someone who belongs, someone who has been personally approved by the most powerful gatekeeper in fashion. The 2026 Met Gala took place on May 4th at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. This year's theme was costume art, with the dress code, Fashion is Art, co-chaired by Beyoncé, Nicole Kidman, and Venus Williams, three of the most celebrated women on the planet. It was one of the most anticipated nights in the event's history. Reality T and Meghan Markle was not there. Now let's talk about the two names at the center of this story. Because to understand why this snub is so significant, you need to understand who these women are and what kind of power they actually hold. First, Anna Wintour. If you know one name in fashion, it is this one. Anna Wintour is the editor-in-chief of Vogue, and she has been the guiding force behind the Met Gala for decades. When Talk TV host Mark Dolan discussed this story, he described the situation simply. Meghan Markle cannot get a ticket to the Met Ball, calling it the big fashion event of the year in New York, and attributing the reported refusal directly to Anna Wintour. MSN Anna Wintour does not just influence the guest list. She is the guest list. Her approval means everything. Her disapproval means the door is closed, quietly, permanently, and without any public explanation. According to page 6, Wintour is known for standing firmly by her close friends, and celebrities who have had conflicts with those friends are said to have been excluded from the Met Gala. Meghan Markle is reportedly among those kept away from the event. Prime timer. And then there is Sanchez Bezos, wife of Jeff Bezos, one of the wealthiest men on earth, a media personality, entertainment reporter, and now one of the most influential figures in elite social circles. This year's Met Gala was marked by Jeff Bezos and Sanchez Bezos serving as lead sponsors and honorary co-chairs. Between Anna Wintour's creative control and Sanchez's financial power, these two women effectively held the keys to the entire event. MSN and Meghan did not get one. But here is where the story gets really interesting. Because the question everyone is asking is not just whether Meghan was excluded, it is why. And the answer goes back years. Reports from multiple outlets trace the breakdown in the Wintour-Markle relationship to 2019, when Meghan guest-edited British Vogue's Forces for Change issue alongside Edward Enninful, who was at odds with Wintour at the time. Sources claim Wintour perceived Meghan's collaboration as a public alignment against her, a move in the internal politics of the fashion world that Wintour never forgot. MSN, in the world of fashion, perception is everything. And in Wintour's world specifically, loyalty is everything. You do not publicly align yourself against Anna Wintour and then expect an invitation to her most important night of the year. But it did not stop there. Because sources also claim that what happened during that 2019 Vogue collaboration went beyond just the politics of who was working with whom. Reports suggest that Meghan arrived in the fashion world not as a collaborator, but as someone with demands. Her own vision, her own editorial control, her own ideas about how things should be done. For a woman like Anna Wintour, who has spent more than 30 years building and protecting the most powerful brand in fashion, that kind of attitude from someone who had not yet earned their place at the table was deeply unwelcome. And then came the bigger ask. Reports suggest Meghan pushed for a global Vogue cover, not just British Vogue, but American Vogue as well. A simultaneous international cover that nobody had proposed and that did not match the magazine's existing plans. The request, according to sources, was turned down. The relationship, according to those same sources, never fully recovered. Royal biographer Ingrid Seward spoke directly about what the Met Gala exclusion means for Meghan's ambitions, saying the snub was a blow for the Duchess of Sussex. She argued that a Met Gala appearance would have genuinely helped Meghan's fashion credentials, even suggesting that if Meghan did not want to go, she still needed the kudos of being seen there. And Seward was blunt about Wintour's power, stating simply that if Wintour did not want Markle there, Meghan would not be there. Reality tea. That is the reality of Anna Wintour's world. One decision, no appeals. Now let's talk about Sanchez and the other factor in this story, because sources suggest the Bezos connection added another layer of complication to Meghan's already difficult position. Reports suggest that Jeff Bezos and Sanchez soured on the Sussex couple following a high-profile incident at a Kardashian birthday party. The Sussexes reportedly attended the event, and when photos from the evening began circulating online, a dispute broke out over who had approved what. The Kardashians publicly contradicted the Sussex version of events, creating exactly the kind of messy, embarrassing Hollywood drama that people like the Bezoses work very hard to stay far away from. MSN, and that is the thing about elite circles. At a certain level of power and wealth, reputation management is not a hobby, it is a full-time priority. The Met Gala is not just a party, it is a brand. Every person on that guest list is a reflection of what the event represents. And when you are a lead sponsor, when your name and your money are attached to the event, you have a very strong interest in keeping the guest list free from anything that could generate negative headlines. Meghan, fairly or unfairly, had become associated with controversy, with disputes, with the kind of public drama that powerful people in closed circles simply do not want near them. And so the decision was made. Quietly, without announcement, without explanation. The invitations went out. Beyoncé got hers. Venus Williams got hers. Nicole Kidman got hers. The biggest names in entertainment, music, sports, and fashion, all of them received their golden tickets. Meghan did not. It remains officially unclear whether the Sussexes never received an invitation or simply chose not to attend. But industry observers and royal experts have been largely consistent in their assessment. The absence was not a choice. It was a decision made by others. Reality tea. And what makes this sting so particularly hard, what makes this specific rejection cut so much deeper than a simple oversight, is the context around it. Because two of this year's co-chairs, Beyoncé and Venus Williams, both have connections to Meghan's social world. These are women she has publicly aligned herself with, women whose names she has dropped in interviews. Women whose presence at the event she might have assumed would open a door. It did not. The doors that Meghan assumed her friendships would open stayed closed. And that gap between the public image of a woman with powerful allies and the private reality of a woman who could not get into the room is the part of this story that nobody wants to say out loud, but everybody is thinking. Sky News Australia commentators described the 2026 Met Gala exclusion as a significant blow, with one commentator calling it a big humiliation. Another suggested the missed appearance was a lost opportunity to promote Meghan's influencer ventures at one of fashion's most visible platforms, MSN. And while the Met Gala was happening in New York, while the red carpet was packed with the most celebrated people in the world, Meghan was reportedly in Montecito. Not on that carpet, not in that room, not part of that night. For a woman who has spent years crafting a very specific image, stylish, connected, globally relevant, Hollywood royalty, sitting in California while fashion's biggest night happened without her is a powerful statement. Not one she made, one that was made about her. Now, To be fair, and Golden Crown Insider always gives you both sides, there are people who argue that Meghan is better off without the Met Gala circus, that the event has become a spectacle more than a celebration of genuine fashion, that Meghan's brand is evolving in a different direction, lifestyle, wellness, family, and that the Met Gala was never truly aligned with where she was headed anyway. And there are people who point out that not every absence is a rejection, that the Met Gala guest list involves hundreds of variables, brand partnerships, designer relationships, sponsorship deals, and that reading too much into one absence is an oversimplification. Both of those arguments have some merit, but they do not fully answer the question that is hanging over all of this, because the pattern is becoming harder to ignore. Hollywood has been maintaining a very careful distance from Harry and Meghan for some time now. The big deals that were announced with great fanfare have quietly faded. The Netflix partnership produced some content, but not the cultural moment it promised. The Spotify deal ended. The book was published. The documentary aired. And now, the most fashionable night of the year happened without the woman who told the world she was ready to be a fashion icon. Sky News Australia commentators linked the reported Met Gala absence to what they described as a broader pattern of Hollywood, distancing from Meghan and Prince Harry, suggesting that missing such a major event could limit networking opportunities and reduce public visibility at a critical time for anyone trying to build a personal brand in fashion and media. MSN. That broader pattern is what this story is really about. Not just one gala, not just one guest list, but a question that is growing louder by the month. Where exactly does Meghan Markle belong in the world she chose when she left the crown behind? She left the royal world. She said Hollywood was her home. She said she had friends, allies, a network, a brand. She said she was ready. But the Met Gala, fashion's harshest and most honest mirror, reflected something different back. And that reflection, whether Meghan acknowledges it publicly or not, is something she cannot simply post her way out of on Instagram. The hidden truth today is this: power in Hollywood, just like power in the palace, is not given. It is earned. It is maintained through relationships, through loyalty, through knowing when to push and when to hold back. And Meghan Markle, in both worlds she has tried to inhabit, may have misjudged exactly where the lines are. The Met Gala doors are closed for now. Whether they ever open is entirely up to the women who hold the keys. And those women, Anna Wintour and Sanchez Bezos, are not known for changing their minds. If this video opened your eyes, give it a thumbs up right now. Share it with someone who follows this story. And if you have not subscribed to Golden Crown Insider yet, do it now. Every day we bring you the truth behind the headlines. The stories the palace and Hollywood both hope you never connect. This is Golden Crown Insider, and we will see you in the next one.